No one in the village of Oberu understood how Chike's roasted chicken could stay so soft, so juicy, and so rich with flavor that people traveled from distant towns just to taste it. But one moonless night, when the smell of his grill suddenly vanished from the market square, the truth behind his secret came crawling to light, one that no villager would ever forget. In Oberu village, Chike was known as the man who fed the market. From sunrise until the sun sank behind the palm trees, smoke from his iron grill curled through the air. The scent of pepper, spice, and firewood floated down the red earth road. People said even travelers from Bale and Udi timed their journeys so they could stop and buy Chike's roasted chicken. Soft and sweet. Come and taste what your mouth will never forget, he would shout, his thick voice carrying across the market. His apron was always clean, tied tight around his waist, and his laughter rumbled like a drum. Everyone said Chike was blessed. His stall never went empty, and no matter how costly chickens became elsewhere, his price stayed the same. Some joked that he must have planted money in the ground, but others, whispering under the mango tree, would shake their heads and say, that man's wealth is not ordinary. Across the road, Mama Ebel, another chicken seller, watched her own customers drift toward Chike's stall day after day. Her heart grew heavy with envy. How can one man sell so cheap and still grow fat? She asked aloud. Something is hiding inside his house. She swore that one day she would find out. Life in Oberu continued, but strange things began to happen. Chike's right leg started to ache, just a small pain at first. He tied a wrapper tightly around it and kept roasting, pretending nothing was wrong. But as the days passed, the pain deepened like a curse buried in his flesh. Sometimes he would stop turning the meat and press his leg hard, trying to hide the grimace behind his broad smile. Flies gathered quickly around his ankle, but still he worked. The money was too sweet, the crowd too thick. One hot afternoon, while the market buzzed with laughter and chatter, Chike's leg gave way. He dropped his iron fork and nearly fell into the fire. Sweat poured from his face. Chike, are you alright? A woman asked. It's the fire, he replied quickly, forcing a grin. The smoke makes me sweat. Nobody questioned him further. Who dares to doubt the hand that seasons food so well? That night, when he returned to his compound, the pain pulsed like a drum under his skin. He sat on his wooden stool, unwrapped his leg, and stared at the wound that had become both his treasure and his curse. The flesh was red and alive, throbbing as though it had its own heartbeat. He touched the edges. They felt hot, too hot. And as he leaned back, gasping, memories of the night that changed his life came flooding back. Years ago, before anyone in Oberu knew his name, Chike had lived in the city of Enugu, where he worked at a spare part shop. He was thin, poor, and angry at the world. Every day, he carried heavy boxes for rich men whose perfumes filled the shop before they even spoke. They laughed loudly, their gold watches flashing in the sun. Chike's heart grew bitter. Why must others live like kings while I live like an ant? He would whisper. Among all those customers, one man fascinated him most, Chief Odoma, a powerful dealer known for his convoys of cars and heavy gold chains. People called him the Lion of Enugu. One afternoon, after watching Chief Odoma make another grand purchase, Chike gathered courage and stepped forward. Chief, please show me the way, he said, voice trembling. I don't want to die poor. Chief Odoma studied him quietly, then smiled. You have bold eyes, he said. Many ask with their mouths, but few with their hearts. If your spirit is strong, come to me tonight. That evening, Chike stood beneath a flickering streetlight waiting, heart beating like a drum. A black jeep rolled to a stop beside him. Chief Odoma opened the door and said, Enter. They drove for a long time, until they reached a small mud house at the edge of the forest. Inside sat an old man with a white beard and eyes that glowed like charcoal. Welcome, the old man said, his voice low and deep. You have come to seek the road to wealth. Chike nodded. Yes, Baba, I am ready. Without another word, Chief Odoma rolled up his trouser leg, and what Chike saw froze his tongue. There, on the man's calf, was a deep wound, dark, round, and crawling with white worms. The chief smiled calmly. This, he said, is my bank. The more these creatures grow, the more money flows to me. But they must be fed through the living. The old man spoke again. If you desire wealth that never dries, you must carry your own mark. Every night you will feed the life that grows inside you, and it will feed your riches. Chike's fear wrestled with greed, but greed won. I accept, he said quickly. Do it now. The old man took a sharp object from a clay pot and murmured strange words. Smoke filled the room. Then, with one swift motion, he pressed the object into Chike's leg. Pain shot through his body, and he felt something alive crawl under his skin. From tonight, the old man said, you will gather what your wound gives and feed it to food for others to eat. Fail, and the blessing will turn against you. Chief Oduma placed a heavy hand on Chike's shoulder. Leave the city. Go far, where no one knows you. Start a business where people must eat daily. You will never lack. Before dawn, Chike boarded a bus out of Enugu and arrived in Oberu. There he built a small chicken pen behind his compound. To everyone's eyes, he was just a hardworking newcomer. His chickens grew fat and healthy. Neighbors praised him, saying, "That man has a gift." But at night, behind closed doors, Chike would untie his wrapper, hold a calabash beneath his wound, and collect the strange harvest that oozed from it. He mixed it into the chicken's feed, whispering the words the old man had taught him. Small pain, big money. Weeks turned to months, and soon Chike's roasted chicken became the pride of Oberu. His stall overflowed with customers. Travelers planned their routes just to taste it. His pockets grew heavy. He bought land, built a bigger house, and people said he was blessed. But each night, the wound burned deeper, spreading up his leg, blackening the flesh like fire licking dry wood. Then came the harmattan season. The air was dry and cold, and the pain refused to rest. Chike could no longer stand for long. Still, he tried to roast chicken, smiling through the agony. But when his leg finally failed completely, he shut his stall, saying he needed rest. Days passed, and the once delicious smell from his compound turned foul. Neighbors grew worried. "Chike," they called at his gate. "Are you alive?" But he only replied weakly, "I need sleep." On the fourth night, thunder rolled across the village. Chike lay on his mat, shaking from fever. Suddenly, he felt a tearing pain explode from his leg. The wound burst open, spilling hundreds of white worms that spread across the floor like a living flood. He tried to rise, but his body refused to move. They crawled over his arms, his chest, his face, and when he opened his mouth to scream, more poured out. By morning, Oberu village was silent. When the villagers gathered courage to open his door, they found only his cold body, the grill long gone cold, and a smell that would haunt them for years. That day, the elders gathered beneath the Irako tree and shook their heads. "Greed is a hungry fire," one said softly. "It does not fill a man, it finishes him." And so the story of Chike the Roaster became a warning passed down through generations. In Oberu village, when young men grow restless for quick riches, the elders remind them, "The food that feeds on evil will one day feed on you."